I'm Norman Liss. The name of the program is The Way to Go. I invite you to join me as we explore places to go and things to do. As regular viewers of this program know, one of my favorite places in Westchester is the Hudson River Museum in Yonkers. It's a great place. It's just finished one of the best exhibits that I've ever seen on railroads. And now that's gone, and the Hudson River Museum is getting ready for a new wave of exhibits, and we're going to learn all about them, what's there now and what's coming in the months ahead. My guest today is Connie Cullen, who is the Marketing Public Relations Director for the museum. Connie, I hope you've got a bag full of goodies for us today.
A full one, Norman, definitely. Thanks.
And so what's it all about? What's the main exhibit theme, and when is it open, and what's happening?
We're really excited about what we're bringing to the museum for this season, and building on the success of our railroad exhibition, we like to do exhibitions that are multidimensional, many different things happening inside. So the topic is folk art, New York State folk art, and it's called Out of the Ordinary.
It's interesting that you brought along a brochure which actually says exactly that, Out of the Ordinary.
And I think many people have in their mind what folk art is. It's something practiced in rural places. It's maybe old-fashioned, but I think they're going to be surprised to see the wonders of what today's folk artists are practicing. They are using the traditions.
It's an interesting term, isn't it, folk art? What is folk art? How do we define it? Is it something that just comes out of people doing ordinary things?
A lot of that, and I think they bring the richness of their ethnic culture to it, and practices that they want to pass on to their children. I think that's the wonder of folk art in New York State today.
It doesn't necessarily have to be old things, because we're talking about folk art today, right?
Right.
And it falls into different categories, I know, because you brought some things along that are going to tell us about what they are. So why don't we look at some of the illustrations while you go into it? And we've got something here that's very, very interesting. What is it?
Well, you have a head of a marionette made by a family in Staten Island called the Matteo family, and they are of Sicilian descent. And this was something practiced by the male members of the family and brought over to this country and practiced today, and entertaining children and families throughout the area. But you can see the beautiful craftsmanship that goes into the construction of these marionettes, and then the beauty of the performances. It's just fantastic.
This is not just one type of folk art. It covers a wide variety, doesn't it?
It's folk art, whether it's being practiced in a city today, whether it's being practiced out in the country, many different types of folk arts. Things made with natural materials, as well as things combining man-made and technical materials.
And when you talk about the materials, and they're not necessarily things that are carved very, very finely by tiny instruments. For example,
well, what they're doing up in the Adirondacks, you see Hal McIntosh here participating in a timed chainsaw sculpting competition, and the eagle. It's
just
wait a minute,
beautiful. Sculpting with a chainsaw.
Exactly. Well, the traditional sculpting was done with saws, but I think you see the change in folk art using the modern technologies. You go from a handsaw into a chainsaw. So, and the results bring out another type of beauty in the wood, and that's you would think a chainsaw, a very harsh instrument, but it's still is a paintbrush in these people's hands.
All sorts of media are being used, really. It's three-dimensional, a lot of it, isn't it?
Definitely. I mean, we have everything from Ukrainian Easter eggs to Irish fisherman knit sweaters, as well as other types of wood carvings. So many different things you'll be able to touch, and photographs.
That's unusual in a museum.
But at the Hudson River Museum, Norman, as you know, we're always trying to make, the urge to touch is just so great that we always try to put something into the gallery.
Now, one of the categories, I think, is wearables, and you mentioned Irish sweaters.
And the sweaters are just really unique because the stitching tells you what county they're from. It also can identify the families. As a matter of fact, when Irish fishermen experience tragedies in their homelands and they might have drowned on an expedition and they washed up, they could sometimes identify the fishermen through the stitching in their sweater. Fortunately, we have much more happy uses for them today.
Using them, I assume, on mannequins, and I love the way the museum exhibits. It's a great process, isn't it? How does a museum come together and decide how to show what you have? I mean, some of the things we're talking about here specifically, marionettes, huge, I assume, chainsaw sculptures, wearables, and other things. How does a decision made how you're going to show it?
Well, first of all, you're looking at who your audience is and who's coming in and where their interests are. And I think in the Westchester community, there's a great deal of interest in your roots and in your background. And then how you set it up in the galleries to invite people in, to make sure they want to dig into the exhibition. And that's really, it's a difficult task, but it's an exciting one because you want them to be able to see everything that you've brought forth. Who
does it? Is it curators or designers? How does it work?
We have a director of design, John Matherly, who's been with us, I think, over 15 years, who's fantastic. He works hand in hand with the curators, with the education staff, with the maintenance staff, and the security staff, because all of those concerns are very much important to how an exhibition is presented.
Is it a long process of from the time that you say we're going to do this exhibit until the point where, hey, folks, come on in, we're open?
At the museum, we have done things that have ranged from 4 years in the making to 3 months in the making. So, you turn around what you need to turn around to present, and that's a challenge.
It's interesting that I suppose you can say in an exhibit of folk art you can go from A to Z.
Definitely, and you've got Z right up here now.
and a zebra.
A zebra.
But what kind of a zebra?
Well, this is ornamental lawn sculpture done by Veronica Terillian. She takes armatures, wires, covers them with regular cement, and finishes them with household paint and found objects like glass and beads. She has over 300 of these, 400, on her 3-acre property in Lewis County, New York. So people come to visit and see these sculptures.
Now we talk about folk art, things that people do. Some of them are commercial, aren't they? They are for sale by the artists, aren't they?
They are, and believe it or not, sometimes the commercial needs have dictated the evolution of the folk art. One exhibit we have is on decoys. Ducks. And there are certain ways that the ducks were usable when they were just for out there, floating around as a hunter's aid. But then when the commercial market saw how decorative arts, how there's a beauty to these, and so therefore the folk artists actually changed how they were working in order to make the product a bit more commercially attractive, as well as still useful to the hunters.
It's interesting you mentioned the word change. One of the things that I like what you do at the museum is even though one exhibit may close and you're getting set to open up a new one, there are other exhibits ongoing all the time. There's an overlapping so that there's always lots to see there. And maybe we ought to get this folk art exhibit. When is that running through?
Well, it's running through August 31st. We feel it's a large, powerful exhibit, so we want to give people a lot of time to come in, to come back and see things again. And we're quite fortunate to have wonderful sponsorship for this exhibition from Health Insurance Plan of Greater New York, with additional support by the Links. And that enables the museum to keep the exhibition up so many people can see it.
And that's going to be in the lower gallery.
Our main gallery.
Where you have lots of room to do all these things.
And Norman, what's really interesting is we are putting a stage in the center of the gallery. And on Sundays, we're going to have folk artists actually creating their works in the galleries from 1:30 to 3. So you can watch an Irish boron drum being made. You can watch Jordanian instruments being carved. You can see Ukrainian Easter eggs being painted. And every Sunday this will happen right in the exhibition.
through August?
Through August 31st.
That's great. Now let's talk about other exhibits, because there are many other things happening there. There's some very interesting caricatures, portraits, but they're different, aren't they?
They're very different.
What's different about them?
Phenomenal artist Liza Liu from California works in beads, very tiny little beads, and she has created 42 portraits of the American presidents. And when they hang on the walls in the gallery, they just glisten. They also have beaded gilt frames surrounding
Your lighting
them.
sure helps that, doesn't it?
Yes, because we do have the skylights, and so it is wonderful. But they are imaginative. They're based on popular portraits or studies of the presidents, and in some of them she's even put little personality quirks and traits, like she discovered Grover Cleveland died of lung cancer because he had smoked cigars. So she's woven in a cigar pattern into his portrait.
The question really is, I'm sure it takes time for her to complete these. How is she able to do one of President Clinton?
Well, fortunately, though he was just reelected, we did have 4 years, so he was already made up and he was ready to go. So.
Plus, she can't be working on the next one.
No, not yet. Well, she has some talents I'm not aware of, but she could.
So all 42?
All 42, from George Washington, Abraham Lincoln. You'll see Richard Nixon, Ronald Reagan, Bill Clinton.
And we talked about whether she sells them. Now, are these one of a kind? And if so, then she must have them all and own them all.
At the moment, they're all part of her collection. So I'm not sure the direction she's taking it in. She's done lots of other projects with beads, and so at the moment,
how big are they? Are they large?
Large, yes. Probably 2 feet, 3 feet.
Oh, we can't tell from the illustration of what they are. So she's got all the presidents actually in there.
Right.
And when does that run through?
That runs through May 4th. Yeah.
So, again, there's this overlapping that we talked about. Right.
You've got the folk art again, people working with their hands, and then bringing in an artist who has her own vision working with her hands.
The exhibits are determined, as you said, by knowing your audiences, right? And, of course, one of the exhibits, which I find very interesting, is called what? La Tête? La
Tête, the head, yes.
The head. And what is that all about?
Well, it's all about hair braiding and cornrows in both Africa.
The great modern...
not as modern as you think, Norman. It dates back, it's a practice that dates back to 3500 BC. And it was practiced in Africa there and brought to this country. So it is a very traditional part of the African culture.
So what is this exhibit? How is it put together, and who has done it?
Juliana Free is a photographer. She works in black and white, and she has documented the process, both here in America and in Africa, of hair braiding. And it has many different meanings in Africa than it does in the United States. In Africa, a braiding might mean a married woman, an eligible woman, a widow. In our country, it tends to be a sign of aesthetics or beauty, sometimes even a political statement. So hair braiding in the two cultures are very different.
Where is this exhibit?
This exhibit is in Voter Gallery.
Which is?
Right around the corner from where you'll see the American presidents.
So all of the space is being occupied. What's in the mansion?
The mansion, well, we are undergoing the Glenview Mansion renovation and restoration, a very exciting program. We're about to inaugurate the public part of this program, where we will be seeking contributions from the public for the restoration. We're bringing back a stained glass skylight, 2 rooms that we've used as galleries we're restoring to their period functions, the parlor and the billiard room, and we will be putting in new galleries upstairs in the mansion, which will have changing exhibitions of 19th century Hudson River art. So it's a most exciting time. We're beginning this role in fundraising. It's fantastic to see the planning. Things are undergoing right now. So you get a full picture of what's going on at the Hudson River Museum. There's always something to see.
It's interesting that you get such support from not only from Yonkers, where you're located, but from the entire county and beyond. I really believe, and I've said it over and over again, I've said it today, that the Hudson River Museum is a gem. And it does such wonderful things, and it is unique, and it appeals to all segments of the public. I know you do a lot of school work, don't you? As a matter of fact, you got a museum school right next door.
2 museum schools. We have a museum elementary and a museum junior high, and we've just begun a 3rd museum school. We service over 7,900 school children in a direct way, but throughout the county we bring in over 22,000 school children. And I hope a lot of them are coming when the American President's exhibition is up. It's going to be up during President's Day, so they'll have a chance to see this and be smart when they get back to school.
I think what you did not too long ago with Off the Walls was very, very important, because I know we talked about it on this program, and I've talked about it before and after. But you brought in a new audience there, didn't you? Well, let's talk about what Off the Wall, for those people who may not have heard about it before.
Off the Walls was a site-specific dance, theater, and movement and music activity that took place right in the museum's building. A choreographer by the name of Stephen Koplowitz, who's received several NEA choreograph scholarships, created dances that were influenced by the architecture of the building. And we have the 19th century Glenview Mansion, where you had different types of dances going on, plus the very modern wing, and then the planetarium, which again can give you a very ethereal, space-like feeling. And he created these dances, and what the audience did in Out of the Ordinary is they came in, they received a program which described what was going on, and they were free to walk through all the buildings, the exhibitions, and see. They would just come upon a dance happening in our railroad station that was up. They'd go into the planetarium. So it was a multi-dimensional feeling. And
I have to tell you that when I heard about it in advance and did an interview on it and showed some of the scenes, I never could conceive how great it was. And I've talked to several people who were there, who saw it, and I only heard great things about it. Now, you talked about the railroad station, how cleverly the use of the window played in there, and the arms and the legs and the bodies all appeared in this frame that was in there. The use of the steps in the mansion, the great staircase going up to the 2nd floor. It was just an unbelievable. Now, this was not something that you said he had won some awards, but he'd done Grand Central Station,
exactly,
and the Museum of Natural History in Europe,
and in London. He's at the Natural History Museum there, so he's quite a prominent choreographer. And to have brought him into the Westchester community was very exciting. You're going to hear a lot of things about Stephen Koplowitz, and we had close to 1,000 people experience Off the Walls, from children straight up through seniors, and everyone loving it. We were packed one night, beyond capacity. Everyone had a great time,
including me. I do want to remind our viewers that we're talking today about the Hudson River Museum, and my guest today is Connie Cullen. We're talking about what's happening, what the new things are in the new exhibits, and maybe a little bit about the past. One of my favorite places in Westchester. Connie, the diversity of what you do is tremendous. We talked about the children's programs. We've talked about the planetarium. Off the Walls. It was amazing to me that there were actually people there behind the screen. What do you call it? The dome?
Right, the dome. The dome of the planetarium, many people just think it is flat and that things are reflected on it. It's actually a very, very fine, not like a screen, but holes in it. And so when you project light from behind, you can see the silhouette of the dancers. And then you project slides or video in front, and you've got this wonderful combination of dance, visual, and the music was just incredible. So, and this is all going on a 2-foot catwalk that goes around the 40-foot dome. So it's a very, very interesting place to try to dance. I think we succeeded.
Talking about the planetarium reminds me that not too long ago I attended something which I really didn't know you did that well, and that was a party, a holiday party party for the Advertising Club of Westchester, which included a dinner, a special planetarium show, touring the exhibits. Incredible place to hold private parties. You've had all sorts of things there, haven't you?
The museum is available for weddings, anniversary parties,
Amazing.
corporate events. It's a way that the museum and nonprofit world, Norman, has to diversify. Where are our additional income sources going to come from? It's a challenge for today and for the future. And we want to be able to keep our price reasonable. When you have a full family come, you want to be able to keep the costs down. So we have to look for other ways. And I think having an event at the museum is a memorable event. I think you make an impression upon your guests. You've brought them here to this wonderful facility, and they've had a great experience. And so that's what we try to do with all of our events at the museum.
You know, I guess people don't realize what a treasure Westchester is. There are so many things that one can do. I have a friend, Mal Brenner, for example, who I have taken around and showed him places that he never knew existed. Some of the places which maybe are known to me. I learned about Usonia at an exhibit that I saw originally at the Hudson River Museum. Certainly PepsiCo is a wonderful place to go to. The airport, which has its new airplane right up in the front at the opening there. I watched them fly that in, by the way, in a sling. They brought it in underneath a helicopter from the Intrepid. These are all wonderful places. The Octagon House in Irvington. I mean, marvelous places. The Cropsey Museum in Hastings. All of these wonderful places. I like to take people to them because I'm seeing it anew through their eyes.
Well, I think Westchester is a county of tourists. We talk about the tourism industry and we think of tourists in a classical sense of bringing our out-of-town visitors or people from different countries here. But the community of Westchester really likes to travel around, and Westchester has an embarrassment of riches of museums, historic sites, architectural gems and wonders, natural things, natural settings, and parklands. So it's really quite wonderful to be a part of that and to be part of this mix that you can, right in your own backyard, within a few miles, a few minutes, you can experience. At the Hudson River Museum, you can experience from the 19th century up to the space age. And other sites
it all ties together too, doesn't it, Connie? I know that you're doing things that tie into other events that are happening, and you got your eye on what's around you, and you got your eye on the future.
Well, we certainly do, because we know there's a big event coming to Westchester, a sports-related event this August at Winged Foot, the Men's PGA Championship. And it's quite a coup for the Westchester Convention and Visitors Bureau to bring this event to Westchester. Its impact on the economy, on the hotels, on everything is going to be great.
And what's the Hudson River Museum doing?
Well, the Hudson River Museum is real fortunate because we happen to have in our collection the first photograph ever taken at a golf game in this country. And it took place in St. Andrews when St. Andrews was located in Yonkers, and John Reed is pictured there. He's thought of as the father of American golf, organizer of the early U.S. Golf Association. So bringing together this big athletic, big sports event at one of Westchester's major cultural institutions we have in our collection things that are relevant to your life. And if you're interested in golf, we've got something here for you. Just like in the Railroad Exhibition or the Hudson River Exhibition. There are people who have these interests, and we have them here, and we want to showcase them.
It's very specific to the specific interest of certain people. Talking about the interest in certain people, I cannot let this program go by without talking about the Red Groom's gift shop.
Ah, yes, favorite site at the museum.
And a favorite site of mine, and a favorite place for taking my money, by the way.
Which we do graciously, but you do get your member discount.
What about the for those who don't know about? Let's talk about the Red Groom's gift shop.
Well,
let's talk about Red Grooms.
Well, Red Grooms is a contemporary pop artist who, in 1977, was commissioned to put an installation at the museum. It was completed in 1979, and it serves as both an art installation and a functioning gift shop. So you walk into it and you experience a riot of color, of images that are very, very much Red Groom's style of art. The Red Groom's gift shop itself is known as the Bookstore, its formal title. One side has the J. Pierpont Morgan entrance, and the other side is Mendoza's bookstore, which was formerly in Greenwich Village. And so you come in the meeting of this very formal library with this very eclectic bookstore, and there are pigeons, there are stuffed mylar figures that you're shopping amongst, and you can actually come to the gift shop without paying your museum admission and just shop.
One of the things that I remember, talking about tying in with the schools and the community, is one of the schools actually had the youngsters make their own figures in the style of Red Grooms. Very, very impressive, very imaginative. I think it stimulates the kids really to get into that. It must be great working in that atmosphere.
Well, you mentioned earlier about the challenge of putting exhibitions together and getting people there. And what we try to do at the museum is what we call multiple levels of access. And that means if you're an art-interested person, we have to have something in the exhibition that challenges you, history-interested. If you're the novice museum goer, your first time in a museum or you don't go very often, there must be something there to catch you, as well as a young child. And that's why we have gone to, at the museum, presenting multidisciplinary, bringing in lots of thoughts, golf, railroad, rivers, because you can expand these things with high-quality objects, sculptural art, wonderful historical documents and photographs, and really capture the interest of your visitor on many different levels.
It's interesting that you say that, because I find, and I'm sure other people do, that some museums are off-putting to me. I feel as if I'm intruding or it's talking down to me or whatever. Certainly don't feel that way at the Hudson River Museum. It's such a delight to go to, and it's such a delight that you came here and told us about what's upcoming and ongoing and going forever, I hope, at the Hudson River Museum. Thank you very, very much.
Thank you, Norman.
My guest today is Connie Cullen, the Hudson River Museum. Wonderful things happening, wonderful things ongoing, a great place to go to and go there. I'm Norman Liss. The name of the program is The Way to Go. Until next time, enjoy yourself.
Drunks